Bookshelves. Let's talk about them. They're not just for books anymore. You can really make a statement in your home with pieces that you display in them. Unfortunately, a lot of us get stumped with how to decorate bookshelves.
Well, we got the answer for you. Welcome interior designer Lauren Clement. She has some great tips for decorating and organizing your bookshelves. Hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's true. They can be really pretty places to display nice things. However, I think a lot of us can say that our bookshelves are just kind of a mess.
It's one of the hardest things. I feel like one of the most phone calls I get to say, I have all these shelves and I don't know what to do with them. Help! You know, you're throwing up the white flag. So my first tip is to just wipe everything clear. Just take everything off because, Eugene, like we were saying, you get all these little things that just get shoved in there and tchotchkes and so much because you just don't know what to do with them. So if you can start fresh, that's your first step.
Take it all off.
Everything. Take it all off. We're going to just strip it all down. So then when you go to put things back, be very selective. Kind of make your piles when you're going through, taking things off and see what do I have to put back, what do I want to put back, and what can maybe go and live someplace else. So pictures, these are a great way to get some nice design elements and also keep this personal, right? So look how large this picture frame is. You're kind of compared to me here. It's a good size. This can be the only thing that goes on one shelf. So don't be afraid to keep it simple and not put too many things on there. Just go with one item.
Keep it simple. Less is actually more. That's
more.
As you can see here in this picture.
Yes. Exactly. So see, even like on the top shelf, there's only one item up there, and that's a boxwood, which I've got a smaller version of that here. And that kind of leads me into my next tip, symmetry. Symmetry is a really important part of bookshelves, and this is kind of where you have to take a step back and look at both sides of what you've got going on and say, how do we balance this? So in that particular case, so here you've got two sides next to each other to balance. So you want to have, something that's nice and tall, balance with something a little smaller, and then kind of work your way. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure you don't have two really big things right next to each other, for example. So the balance and symmetry is important.
Okay.
And then back to this boxwood. Y'all know this is one of my favorite things to use in my design. This just adds a pop of color, a pop of freshness, nature, bringing the outside in. This little guy can do a whole lot for your bookshelf, so remember to add that greenery.
So when you add greenery, I think, does it matter if you're in transitional, modern, what type of greenery would you add to kind of complement what style it's style?
It's a great question because you do have to think about what's your personal style when you're selecting all of these accessories. So boxwoods can be a little more traditional, can be a little bit more on that, farmhouse kind of fresh side of things. If you're a little more contemporary, a little more modern, a really nice lily, like a calla lily in a glass vase, something white, sleek, that makes a big difference. If, again, you like that more hydrangea, bloomy, a little more traditional, so it does matter what your style is when you're making those selections.
We've got another picture I want to show viewers about how to add pops of color.
Exactly. And these bookshelves were a little bit darker. We actually repainted them. They were brown, and we painted them in a charcoal gray. So you can see there's that turquoise bowl in that middle that really jumps out at you and ties in the colors like of the fabrics and the drapery, really pulls all of that together. And always think about white, too. So if your bookshelves are a color, that pop of white is so crisp and stunning, which is, the absence of color. But in that sense, when you're balancing a colored bookshelves, the white is a really great fresh option.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We've got a little bit of time left. I want to ask you this question. What are some of the biggest design mistakes you see people make? Not necessarily with your bookshelf, but just in there when it comes to sort of freshening up their homes.
Yes. Okay, so lighting would be my number one tip. Lighting, I think that the percentage that I use is 80% of homes are 20% underlit.
Really?
So that's huge. So that means our lamps are really short and squatty. Our light fixtures overhead are too small. We're missing like recessed lighting. And it's one of the things when people go to build a home, or if you're buying a home that's not new to, it's new to you, you have to look and see what did they do or not do in the lighting department. If you don't do anything else, get that room nice and lit and bright. You can always add dimmers, so you can tone down if you don't want the overhead light blaring and you just just want a nice soft ambient light. But like table lamps, for example, should be about 28 to 32 inches in height. A lot of times they're much smaller than
tiny.
that. So yes, and you know, you're going to sit next to that table lamp and be up here, and your lamp's going to be down here. So it's not going to help you any.
Warming my elbow.
Right. Right. And then a lot of times those larger lamps will have three-way bulbs, so you can have the option, you know, of the 3 different brightnesses. So lighting would be my number 1 tip.
It's good to know. Let's all go out and buy some more lamps, right? Oh,
nice tall
you're
lamp.
so good. You're so good. Everything you do, it's just exquisite. It's beautiful. She can help you. You can follow her online. Go to her website. It's LaurenNicoleINC.com. LaurenNicoleINC.com. People can follow you on Instagram for decorating ideas, right?
I do lots of stories and tips and great little adventures, as you know, through my daily happenings, which are always fun. So be sure to follow along.
Yeah, and no matter what someone's budget is, right? You
Absolutely.
Can do something,
Yes,
right?
yes. I mean, these are not high-ticket items, you know, and things like this make a huge difference. Whether it's a console table, a coffee table, bookshelves, these little pops of pulling it together the right way makes a huge difference.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.